Okay, Saturday, February 15th, 2025. We're going on, we're just a little over a month since we left Ukraine. We left on the 12th for Warsaw. So, yeah, and it's about, we were here since the 18th, so we're going on almost a month in Brussels. And where are we? So we're still in this registration process. I think in the last video I said we had the police visit. I was supposed to get my bank account open on Friday, but there was some miscommunication between the guy in the phone center and the branch, so I'll try again on Monday to see if I get a bank account number. And with the bank account number, I can then now, register a company and get my insurance, which they've been asking for. But I'm still... Yeah, and then I think, I don't know, this police visit has to be, that has to be communicated over to the Brussels 1000 commune, what they call a first entry or something like this, or some, so that way my address is confirmed. Then I can get my, my ID card, and then from there I can get my wife and daughter onboarded. And I hope that process is easier because we've already gotten some documents for them and already started some stuff for them at the embassy. But it's been very slow. I wanted to talk about the differences between Brussels and Norway. I'll flip the camera and show you this. So this is a park. I live in this black building here. We live up on the 26th floor here, somewhere north facing. On the top. I tried to go on the roof up there, but the doors were jammed. A rooftop terrace, but the doors were jammed. But yeah, I guess what I want to talk about, the difference between Belgium and Norway. So in Norway, everything is online, it's automated. The people in the government will speak English with you. For me, I came as a skilled job seeker. Came to Norway, I came in a much harder way than I was coming to Belgium. I came as a non-EU citizen. I came as an American under the skilled job seeker program. And basically it's a 6-month tourist visa you get. And then in exchange for that extra 3 months, you agree, if you don't find a job, not to come back to the EU for a year. Because normally you go in 3 months, out 3 months, but I think this was like some special deal. Or maybe it was like 6 months. You can't come back for 6 months because you have to have equal time in and equal time out. I don't know what the deal was, but it was you had to be self-funded. You had to. So I landed in Oslo. I had to go to the police station. I showed them my passport, showed them my resume. I showed them I had a technical college degree, so I brought my college transcripts and diploma with me. They had like a checklist, and it wasn't very extensive, but I was surprised how easy it was. I mean, I went to the police station at like 8 in the morning, and I was expecting this whole like big interview and thing, and I just sat with this police lady at her desk, and I thought it was just the first step, and then she would tell me you have to come back with an appointment and all this. She just took all my papers, looked them over, typed some stuff on the computer. I think she took a scan of my passport, and then she said, yeah, you're okay. Good luck. And I was out of there. And that was as an American coming to Norway. Now, as a Norwegian coming to Brussels, I've been in that immigration office like 3 or 4 times. I've had to get documents translated into French. My daughter's birth certificate, my marriage certificate, which we'd already given at the embassy in Warsaw in English, and they said English would be fine. But then you come here and they tell you everything completely different. So I don't know, the embassy is like a sales office, and then once you're here, you're kind of stuck, and then you're just dealing with translators. Now in Norway, after I got the job, it took me 3 months to find the job. Actually, like 3 months, 12 days, and 10 hours. I even had the minutes written down somewhere. It was a monumentous thing to find a job in Norway as a 43-year-old American, non-technical person. I was just an IT project manager. But I actually found a job that very closely matched. It was a miracle. But then after that, what did I do? I took my job offer letter down to the immigration office, and they put me in for a skilled worker visa. And then 4 weeks after that, 5 weeks, it was like 4 or 5 weeks, I got a tax ID number and I was able to start work. Now, in retrospect, that was actually wrong. I was able to actually start work right away from the job offer letter, and then they would have just given me back pay, because it's the date of the job offer is when your technical visa, skilled visa starts. And I didn't know that, and neither did the HR in my company. So I just sat around for 5 weeks, and but it was summer in Norway, so that's what everyone else was doing, was just sitting around and enjoying the sun. You know, I'll flip the camera a little bit. You know, so this is like, yeah, this is the park in front of our building, and I'm up there, so that red is the terrace. And then, yeah, we are here somewhere. Yeah, we're here. But it was fairly easy, you know. And then I got a card in the mail, a resident permit in the mail in Norway, and I was just working. And then I went and got my driver's license converted to Norwegian from American. That was like a big project. You know, I had to take some extra hours for the motorcycle. You know, the car, I just had to learn the roundabouts. I didn't have to take any lessons for that, official lessons, but for the motorcycle, they wanted me to take 50 official hours, you know, for the motorcycle, because they didn't trust the American motorcycle license. Past that, and 3 years later, I got the permanent residency. I completed I don't think we had to complete courses, you just had to complete time. Or I think, yeah, you had to complete, no, the courses and everything were required for citizenship, but now they've changed that. Now you got to do all your Norwegian courses and your social studies courses for the permanent residency. And then after that, you just pass time for citizenship. Before, it was like you would just pass time to get the permanent residency. And then you would, and then you would do all the courses to get your citizenship. But I don't know. You have to look up on the rules. And now it's like 6 years if you're a skilled worker visa, 8 years if you're a spouse. You know, you come in as a spouse or a refugee. It used to be 7 years for everybody. But now here in Belgium, like I said, we went down there to this commune, and you know, then they told us we have to speak French. So like I told you, we went to church, we got hooked up with someone who came with us, you know, to speak French, made them feel guilty since we have a kid to hurry up, you know, because they didn't have any appointments for like 2 or 3 months, but we managed to get a hold of the manager. You know, so it's like Central America here, South America, like India. You have to know how to talk to people. You have to know how to play the game a little bit, get the right person. It's not a process like Norway. Like Norway, everything is online, on the web. Everything follows like a flow chart. You can replace the person, but they'll still follow the same process. Nobody's going to do you any special favors. I mean, and if you have an exceptional situation, they have a process for it, a way to request it. You generally write emails, you make phone calls, things get done over there. You know, especially through email in Norway, especially with the Norwegian government. They're very efficient. Here, I don't know. The bureaucracy is the thing here. It's like the main business in Belgium, it seems like. And people are afraid of it. People feel like they serve it. You know, it's not the other way around where the bureaucracy serves the people. The people here have to serve the bureaucracy. I think Tom Homan is needed here. You work for me. You know, it's really tough when you have an American mindset to deal with this. You know, that you see government workers acting like the way they act here in Belgium. It's almost insane, to say the least. Yeah, now, so yeah, that's where we are. I finally got what it was called an Annex 19 with a national number, and now I'm in this step where I'm trying to get my freelance business set up, and then from that I can buy insurance, and then there I can get this ID card, and I can sponsor my wife and daughter. But as I understand, since my wife and daughter are with me, there's a European law that you can't separate families, so they will have a right to travel with me back and forth to England. they can accompany me, especially while they're under process. I don't know. I'm actually going to talk to a lawyer on Monday to figure this out and see where it's going. And I'm trying to get my daughter's Norwegian passport, but doing that abroad, make sure that I charge this, yeah, it's still working. But doing that from abroad is a bit hard. I had to send our marriage certificate to Oslo. It got there on Tuesday. I'm still waiting for an acknowledgement on that. It's in the mailroom. You know, that's slow for Norway, not responding in a day or two. I mean, I followed the tracking, you know, the DHL tracking, and it, you know, usually things happen faster in Norway, but I'm not sure. I'll have to probably make some more phone calls to Oslo there. But that can also, that at least can get my daughter's problem solved, because she'll have a Norwegian passport, then she can move freely between England and Europe. I'm not sure what the Ukrainian passport provision is. It's kind of in a gray area. And I'm not in the position to experiment. You know, I don't want to do any experiments. I want to just get all this done the right way and move on. So yeah, there's I was under the impression that Belgium and all these countries in Europe kind of work the same way. They don't. And I thought English was like the working language for all of the European Union countries, that you can just at least use English to get your things done. But this, like I said, they have this misplaced nationalism here. I mean, they want you to speak French. Who speaks French? Just Africa and some dysfunctional countries in Europe. The rest of the world is speaking English. The airline industry speaks English. All the universities in India are on an English medium, you know, where all your technical horsepower is coming from. I mean, in the Philippines, they speak English, you know. Whenever you if you put a Korean guy and a Finnish guy together, they're going to speak English together. You know, it's, I don't know. It's like they're, like Pete Hegseth said, Europe is divorced from reality. And this kind of misplaced nationalism is the last thing Europe needs when we're in the middle of a war. You know, all of Europe is supposed to be going together, you know, especially now that they have responsibility for Ukraine. But I don't know, it's just not here. Like, especially in Belgium, like one police officer, the one who visited us, told me, hey, the Russian army is having enough problem in Ukraine, they'll never make it all the way here to Belgium. But what they can do is Russia can influence politics. They can screw up the system here and make life uncomfortable and get their parties elected, get, you know, Russian-leaning parties elected, and it will significantly decrease the standard of living for people. May increase it in the short term, you know, to win votes, but then in the long run, you know, all the rights disappear and everything. So yeah, I don't know, Europe has to get together. Maybe it has to, I don't know if the British aren't up for leading. They did the Brexit, that was stupid. I'm pretty against Brexit. You know, Britain should have maybe tried to change the European Constitution or have a rewrite. They should have led that instead of doing the Brexit, because Britain, Switzerland, Norway, they need to belong to something. Because if they don't belong to something, they belong to nothing. And then they're going to get eaten up, you know, divided and conquered. You know, it's just how it is. No, this is interesting. I found another park here with this. You know, the deal is with these parks, you got to come early, because otherwise there's a lot of junkies and stuff that hang out here. You know, it's a load of crap here. It's not like Ukraine. You know, when you go to a kids park, you know, people are behaving normally. But you know, my wife saw somebody like peeing in the park, and you know, kids smoking weed and all that kind of stuff here out in the open. And you know, we're 300 meters from the police station here. You know, I mean, the distance I just walked in this video is like the distance to the police station. I mean, it's just actually behind that building, you know, the police station. And then they have this brown building is actually a police depot with all the vehicles. And yet you got people peeing all over the place here. You have, you know, kids smoking weed. Now it's fairly early right now. I think it's like, I don't know. It's early in the morning. I do everything early because I was told if I start recording like this later in the day, people are gonna jump all over me and, you know, kick my ass or something. But you know, you know, and I'm 54 years old. You know, you know, and I get jumped by 8 kids. You know, I don't know any ninja moves to get out of that. I just have to run. You know, so. Yeah. So yeah, this is also a big difference between like Norway, Ukraine, and Belgium. Like in Ukraine, you see like normal people in the parks, like with families, and they're eating ice cream and walking their dog or playing with their kids. And in Norway, it's like you see, people with families and kids in the park, and then you see like liberals meditating, and you see single dudes wearing sweaters just walking around. I don't know, but it's all normal. It's bad. No one is doing a load of drugs. Now there's a kindergarten over there. Looks like a prison, I don't know. I guess they're getting them ready for their future. Not sure. Yeah, so I mean, this looks like a great area on paper, right? A lot of tall buildings. There's a lot of corporations here. That's the EU building straight ahead. But the life around here, especially at night, it's like Legend, the Will Smith movie. All the ghouls and goblins come out, and all the crazy people come out. So I don't know what to make of it. So yeah, it's a big difference between like Belgium and the rest of Europe. Like in Norway, everything is about efficiency, getting, the administration there, UDI, that's the, and now here in Belgium, every commune, every county, or every district has their own office. And in Norway, it's just this UDI, and they have offices all over the place, but they all work the same way. And you can interchange offices, and they'll have your case number, and they can just pull it up on a computer. But here, you have to find a specific guy and try to work with him on your case, or a lady or something. And you have to go to that same office over and over, and you have to go in person. I mean, the emailing doesn't help very much. It's just insanity here. I don't know. Like I said, I thought all of Europe was more uniform, especially on these, moving between places. Like in America, you just move between two states. You just change your driver's license, and I think all they need to see is your old driver's license and either like a property, an electric bill or something, or a lease contract, and then you can get your new address. And you have a lot of time to do it. You're not under the gun. But here, I don't know. Here it's like a French mentality. And you definitely don't want the French running the world. I mean, look what they've done down in Africa. I mean, it's still a mess in all the French countries in Africa. They're, it's nuts. So, yeah, don't get fooled. Like thinking Europe is like the US, like once you become a citizen, you can just move between places. You can, but it's hard. It's a lot of work. Like I said, it's harder for me to move here to Belgium and get all registered as an EU citizen, or EEA, European Economic Area. But essentially, if you're Norwegian or Swiss, you're, for all intents and purposes, in the EU. There's that, that much there. It's actually European Economic Area, but it's the EU. Anyway, it's just semantics, but if you're Norwegian or Swiss, you're an EU citizen, more or less. And so to transfer from one EU country to another is harder than coming, from America to Norway, completely outside the system as a skilled job seeker. I'm coming here as, self-funded, with a family, all that stuff. It should be much easier. And it's not. It's just, it's wasted a lot of time. I have to say, this whole last month, I've just learned, and spent a lot of mental energy trying to track down rules, track down people, find answers. Now I got my police visit done because I went to the police station and said, come on, please visit us. Otherwise that paper would have sat there for a month before he would have come over. But I told him, we have a pressing concern. My wife and daughter only have 3-month visas. And now if I were to do this all over again, and I knew better, I didn't know better because I didn't get the right information from the embassy. There is a 6-month visa, but you got to wait 2 weeks for it. It requires more checks. The 3-month visa they can do on the spot. But we didn't have 2 weeks in Warsaw to wait. And yeah, it might have been better if we would have just applied for a Polish 6-month visa. It depends what country, or even a Norwegian 6-month visa. then you can stay in any Schengen country for 6 months, I think. I don't know. Like I said, it's not the US, it's not even the Nordics. Like Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, they all have their own thing too. So you can work in between the Nordics, you know, they have their own agreement. Yeah, I don't know about this place, but I'll definitely tell you, I'm demotivated to stay here for the long run. Now, I'm still waiting on this job contract with this American chemical company. The recruiter said they're just tying up some loose ends. Maybe that's the French bureaucracy, I don't know, but he said I got it. If I got that job, it's a really good job. It's like the job I had at BlackRock or the job I had in the Navy. It's like probably one of the top 3 jobs I'll ever have, you know, and that could open a lot of doors. So then we have to stick it out. But I don't know if we'll stay here in Belgium or we'll go to the Netherlands, you know, or even, I don't know, to Poland or someplace. I don't like the moving around. You know, it's definitely hard on my wife and kid. You know, my wife didn't grow up like me. She's been in like one place all her life. And, you know, when I was growing up, we were moving every 3 years. My dad had a job with the 3M company. And, you know, he was getting transferred and moved around a lot. You know, so I lived in a lot of different places. Then I was in the Navy. I was moving anywhere from every 6 months to every 2 years, you know, when I was a Navy officer. So I'm used to this, but yeah, so maybe we'll just move out to a village in Belgium where things are cheap and we're still in the system here. And we don't, you know, because I think once this is all done, it's going to work. You know, everyone said the hardest part is getting registered here. And then after that, everything works pretty good. We'll see. We'll see. But, you know, all this, you know, tolerance and acceptance for public urination, this is crazy. Like I said, I never saw this in Norway. I lived in Estonia, didn't see it there. Lived in Ukraine. I did not see people pissing in the train station, in the park, in front of kids. And in America, you do that, you become a pedophile, you get into the sex offender registry, and you basically have no life. It's a criminal felony offense there, I think. So it's something you can do in Belgium. You know, if you have a bad bladder, you know, or you eat a lot of sugar and a lot of soda, you know, you can unload anywhere you want, in front of anybody. Nobody cares, it seems like, you know. So yeah, that's the big difference between like Belgium and Norway, and a little bit of contrast with Ukraine. But I'll tell you, if this war gets over in Ukraine, you know, I think we're going home. I'm going to get on one of those projects in Norway, and you know, one of those U.S. projects to exploit the minerals as an American manager or something. You know, that'll be me. You know, I'll bring some wealth back home to the U.S. You know, and build some more weapons and then send them back to Ukraine. You know, yeah, Europe has to get behind Ukraine. You know, Europe has to take lead on this because America has to deal with China. And you know, someone in the other video had commented about you know, America selling out Ukraine. Pete Hegseth is talking about realism. The only way you're going to get Russia out of the occupied territories is to nuke them. That's not on the table, so you have to talk to them. And we have to stop this war, and we have to buy the time, you know, to rebuild our military, and Europe has to rebuild and change our mindset to be on a war footing so that in 10 years we can be the one doing the attacking. We can be the ones, you know, we have to buy some time. You know, the math is not working right now. You know, Ukraine is losing villages every day. The Russians are out producing ammunition. The Russians are, you know, they don't care about human rights. They're out recruiting the Western countries, you know, and just sending them into the meat grinder. And the meat grinder tactics, you know, the Russians do a lot of stupid things, but they have just such big numbers they can do it. You know, and so the meat grinder works. You know, when you have uncommitted allies. You know, there's fighting a limited war, you know, without air cover, you know, without giving Ukraine everything needed. So that's the reality. And, you know, it looks like nobody wants to escalate. Europe doesn't want to escalate. America doesn't want to escalate. Ukraine can't escalate. So then you have to do the next best thing, and that's negotiate and buy time. And then hopefully Europe wakes up and takes lead and cuts America out and attacks Russia. That's what's got to happen. But that's probably not going to happen. Europe is just going to pee everywhere. People in Europe are going to go into parks like this and, you know, advocate for gay rights and pee everywhere. Yeah. So I don't know, but we'd like to see that happen. United States of Europe, you know, they're just become one giant European country with one giant European passport, one European language, English, you know, and they can have their own regional languages if they want. If people want to get like, I don't know, that could be a regional requirement, but still all the important stuff gets done in English. That's what's got to happen, you know, and then, you know, one giant European army, you know, because we're at war, you know, war has started, the balloon has gone up, and we're on the back foot. Europe has to reindustrialize its economy and stamp out ammunition like it stamps out Facebook posts or whatever it is they do now. You know, bureaucracy, papers and copies and regulations. They got to stamp out ammunition. So anyway, that's all I got.